2009 sees the launch of the much-awaited Catholic Education Office Sydney's e-learning position paper entitled E-Learning with the iLearn Model. This document has been developed around a number of key CEO Sydney publications, including but not limited to the CEO Learning Framework, the Secondary Literacy Position Paper, and Professional Learning in Sydney Catholic Schools. The iLearn model also contains direct links to key Makicha publications, including the Learning in an Online World series. It is important that we all have a common understanding of what is meant by the term e-learning. I have found that the general assumption is that the E in e-learning stands for electronic. Whilst it is true that e-learning embraces the use of computers and technology, computers are not the focus of e-learning, but rather e-learning is about engaging students and teachers in learning. It is about evolving the learning process and examining emerging practices. So therefore, when we are thinking about e-learning, what we should be focusing on is developing engaging learning environments, ones where students want to learn, examining both the physical environments in which our students learn, together with the virtual environments we create using such tools as wikis and blogs. At the core of e-learning is the ability to learn anything, anytime, anywhere. We live in an information-rich age. We have access to more information than any other generation. We have greater control over our own learning and are no longer necessarily restricted to class or lecture times to engage in learning. Mobile and portable devices mean that we can access this information virtually anywhere when it suits us best. E-learning is about developing reflective and responsible learners. This will not just happen. Teachers matter. It is our role as educators to provide structures to enable students to develop these important skills in learning. When we speak of networking, we are not talking about computer networks, but rather networks of people sharing their knowledge and expertise, whether that be between learners in the same room, people contributing to a virtual environment such as a wiki, or people engaged in real-time worldwide video conferencing. What we see is the removal of the walls that surround the physical classroom, the removal of physical, geographic, and potentially socio-economic boundaries to allow the building of global and local learning communities. Whilst the name of this model plays on terms like iPod and iShuffle, it has at its core the focus on I. I am responsible for my own learning. In order to best learn, I need to have an understanding of three core questions. How do I learn best? What skills do I need? And how do I contribute to 21st century learning communities? Whilst there are many readings one can undertake about learning styles, one thing remains a constant. We learn best when we are engaged and challenged to learn, when we have the necessary resources and skills to take control of our own learning. In order to do this, the iLearn model attempts to identify a number of skills that the learner needs to develop in order to take full control of their own learning. When we each share our learning with one another, we have the ability to create powerful learning communities, making use of available technology to enhance our learning experiences. In order to continue moving forward, we are now asked to consider the following questions as we continue to strive to enhance our students' learning. How are Catholic values embedded into e-learning? How do students lead the learning? How are students involved in negotiating the learning process? What features are important in creating engaging learning spaces? What professional development is required to extend the use of e-learning practices in and beyond the classroom? How do students create knowledge? How are iLearn skills assessed? What learning strategies are used to develop the iLearn skills? How do teachers model being the learner in the classroom? Describe the whole school e-learning plan for creating and sustaining change. These are our challenges as we continue to move forward. Remember, it's not about the technology. It is about good learning and teaching first. The technology is merely a tool to enable us to achieve our goals.